And welcome to the Hustlers Huddle.
Yet again.
It is in case you didn't know, we have a new guest here. It is the network team podcast about you today.
Yo, welcome guys. Hey, thanks for being here. Today, the you happens to be Dr. Reon Bailey. Doctor, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. Great to have you. We got, as usual, PJ. What's up, brother?
Good to be here. Thank you guys, and thank you, Doctor, for being here as well.
And of course, our new installation, sports.
Installation.
I know. I don't even know I don't have the right words to call this man what he brings to the table. So introduce yourself. What do we got going on, Dario?
Good evening, everyone. Dario Davis here. Still staying hungry, still staying humble.
I love it.
Staying hustling. And let's get this thing going.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, so Chris, you had some things you wanted to bring up, I believe, right? Or...
Absolutely. First off, I'd like to bring up my name, which is Chris the Quick Finger Whitwell.
I can't wait till I have to produce this video and come up
I
with
was
some
looking-
editing for that.
I was looking at the guitar. I mean, what are you thinking? What's your problem?
No. I was
It's
thinking like I was thinking Tombstone, bro. I was leaning towards yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's even better. Because the last thing I want is somebody taking that wrong.
Yo, well, I think everything you do, unfortunately, from time to time, people have been known to take it wrong, bro.
It is what it is. So, what'd you do this weekend?
Yo, man, so actually I had a pretty eventful weekend. So we did, well, hey, you were there. Yo, Mortgage Months. What's up, Frank? You were there, bro?
What's up? Dude, it's been a crazy weekend.
Honestly, dude, can you imagine? So fast. So that was Saturday. We had the rest of the day Saturday, and then Sunday, we did a hashtag no boats needed, bro. I'm telling you, we hit Texas Ski Ranch. Yo, Dr. Reon, you been out there?
No, I haven't been out
You
there.
wakeboard?
No, I can't swim, bro.
No? What does that mean?
I can't swim.
Oh. Dude, bro, I was like, wait a second, is that some kind of like no, you're telling me.
It doesn't happen.
Yo, that's all right, dude. So the thing is,
how do you do the Nembronfles and float the river and all that stuff?
I pray.
I get right with God first,
Right.
and then
I literally hold on to everyone's around me and be like, don't leave me. Don't you leave me.
that's freaking funny, dude.
Well, that's even braver, the fact that you can still do that.
Yeah.
Props to you, sir.
See, I'll do that. I know my limits, though. I can do that. Wakeboarding? Ain't happening.
Well,
Real
so
water.
it's fun. It's a cable park, right? So it's a little bit different. So in a traditional wakeboard, you're pulling up from the boat, right?
Yeah.
In this one, you're kind of hanging on, and then you're also getting like shot across different positions. So your angles adjust very rapidly, which is weird because you get the little slingshot effect that you're not necessarily used to in a boat. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different in that sense. But yo, if you can't swim, you definitely don't want to be out there, bro, because I fell all the time. If I didn't have the life jacket and the flotation devices on, I would have been dead out there, bro. It was nonsense. It was awesome. Yo, Benji was out there. He hit his face a couple times. I hit my face a couple times. It's part of what you do.
Getting hit in the face is a requirement of life every so often, right?
That's
That's my bullying campaign. Punch a bully in the face.
Yo, hey. Oh, here we go. So if you can see what I'm talking about, see how it whips you in that separate direction?
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily going for like a smooth ride. You're literally getting yanked around, slingshotted. So you have to kind of.
What's pulling you, though?
Well, so it's a cable up top. So if you look at it, there's hey,
Thank
Albert
you.
Einstein over here. No, but really it is. It's so the cables that are going, they go around and they flip you from direction to direction as you're. Yeah, but the thing is, if you don't have enough tension on the line and you're not wide enough out, you'll get so slack that when you do get slingshotted out, it'll pull you and you'll fall straight. I mean, I bit it more than once. Put it that way. It was freaking nuts. Like, yeah, and we're talking about the water, by the way, Chris. So
Right.
don't say anything stupid.
No. First off, that's the only thing I contribute to the show.
That is true. That is true. Well, and we appreciate you for that. So thanks for being here.
It's a tough job, man. But
Hey, so
what I
Dr.
signed
Reon, you said not much this weekend, or what? Real kind of chill, or what?
Yeah, it was pretty chill. I can't even remember what I did, so it must have not been that good.
So what is in a typical weekend, in a typical week span, right? So you have a successful business as a chiropractic doctor, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like, what is your day to day? What do you do to continue on with your discipline?
Oh, so literally I'm scheduled. And that's a little bit of my anxiety, OCD. Like I don't stick to a schedule. I just don't feel right. So, but the thing is though, right? I've got a great team in place. So now my schedule is really lax. So what I mean schedule is I have patients scheduled, right?
Right.
And they come in at 9. My assistant gets there at 8:30. When the patients show up, I get a text message, your patient's here. Then I leave my house.
So you actually get a kind of I saw this book or it was an article a long time ago where differentiator was working on your business as opposed to working in your business, right?
Correct.
Like, so now you have the opportunity to kind of step back and work on that business
Exactly.
versus being a day-to-day hustler in the business, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So tell me
my
about that, man. That's
assistant,
awesome.
Her job is to keep day-to-day things going. She's on top of everything. She has lists upon lists. She knows when to call the patients, what to do for the patients, how to handle everything. And I just get a text message or email like, hey, how do I do this? So my job now is to pretty much do the marketing
Nice.
and see the patients and just make sure she's doing what she's supposed to do.
So you actually have the opportunity to focus on your practice versus trying to grow the business because you have the right people in place that are able to do that for you. It's kind of,
Correct.
if I'm understanding that
No,
correctly, yeah?
absolutely. I mean, it took about a year to get her into it, you know. But now that she's felt her way, this will be her like second year with me. So she's literally just she knows what I like, she knows what to expect, and if there's any questions, she just asks.
So it's her second year with you. How
Yeah.
long have you been in practice or in
I've
business
been in
altogether?
business here in this practice for 3 years.
Okay, so it took you about a year to find the right person.
Yes.
So how many people did you go through to get to that
Honestly,
person? Like, because that's a big deal, right? Like finding the right person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's huge now.
Honestly, I got blessed, man.
Okay,
I've
cool.
been to 2 people, and she was the third one. And I mean, when I first talked to her, I was like, I don't know. You know, I interviewed people. I was like, I'm not sure. And then I met her again. I was like, oh, okay. You know, you might work. And then
Hey,
she came
hold on.
back, and it was
Now she's your godsend.
yeah, like
Right.
legit, like she is the practice.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Because I think I have your mic angled up a little too bit. That's my fault. Just a little bit more down. There we go.
Hey, so
That's golden.
everybody check out Chris Whitwell out here, the studio engineer.
Hey,
Hey,
Okay, all right.
OCD, yeah. And
It's
so
all about-
he's checking these.
Now we got waves.
all
on
right,
there.
I got it back.
Oh,
up.
oh.
No, it wasn't a bad thing.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Hey.
little shout out to her. You want to give a little shout
Yeah,
out?
you were-
Yeah.
DeAndre, you're the best.
Hey, what up,
Thank you.
Deandra?
Thank you.
Hey, and so since we're on that, I guess, BJ, where do they find you, man? If people are trying to look out and find Deandra or the people
You
that
can find us on our website, of course,
Okay.
spineinmotionchiro.com.
which wait, I'm
One
sorry,
more
what
time.
is it?
Spineinmotionchiro.com.
Okay.
You can find us on our Instagram, which is spine_in_motion.
Cool.
Okay.
And then you can find us on our Facebook page under Spine and Motion Chiropractic.
Yeah, and what's awesome is once I get through with these edits, y'all are gonna see all of that written right across the screen. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be great.
New
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Check it out. We got that. Yeah, we got that capability. What's up, BJ?
Nice job, Chris.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wait. Did I steal that, Chris?
Whatever.
Oh,
We're both Chris's.
Deception?
We're both doing a nice job, so it's good. Neither here nor there. Hey, let me go on. So you talk about chiropractic. You talk about the entire I've been privy to kind of some conversations we've had
Yeah.
outside of the studio where you talk about kind of a holistic approach.
Correct.
Let us know a little bit about that, man. What is that like? Talk to me a bit.
I mean, so here's the thing, right? People go to the chiropractor kind of often when they're in pain, right? So they see me a lot. They build that trust. So there's certain things that they'll talk to me about that they won't discuss with other doctors. And it's kind of there for me to listen to them and kind of guide them through it. So I have a patient who might come and see me and say, oh, you know what? I'm here for my neck or lower back pain.
Whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll treat them for that. And then they'll say things like, oh, I've been having anxiety issues or anything like that. And I'm like, oh, let's check that out. We discussed it a little bit. Like, you know what? I have a person you can talk to. Or they might say, hey, I want to have a baby, but my husband and I have been trying for a few months. Like, have you tried this person? Have you tried this procedure? So I kind of
Wow.
help guide them where they need to be for their whole health, not just for their neck and back pain.
Now, I've been lucky enough to actually go to you. I don't
Yeah.
know if you would call that lucky.
Yeah.
But,
I was
you know,
all
it's-
whatever.
I-
Experienced.
I've
You're lucky
I've
that I
used-
was there, right?
Yeah.
Easy.
I've used Dr. Bailey for both keeping my spine in line, but also I
Hey,
remember
but-
one time. I remember one time I called him up and I like standing up. Like, this is how you know you're getting old. I'm in the office.
I remember you told me the story a couple of
I had a client walk in, and all they needed to do is give me some docs, right? Documentation to scan.
Yeah.
I stand up to greet them. Normal thing is, can I get you coffee, water, whatever? And stand up, back's gone. So I'm trying to walk like
Hey,
normal.
that's strong Whitwell out here.
Standing up, guys. My
Sorry,
back
guys,
was
hey.
Dunskies. And so I'm bent over, walking like an L, trying to act normal. You know what I mean? Like, look like I'm trying to moon her or something as I'm walking to the refrigerator to get her a fucking glass of water.
Yo, take it easy, bro.
It was embarrassing. So I called him like immediately. I'm like,
I remember
"Hey,
you telling me the
I
story.
need help." He's like, "Well, can you sit down? I mean, if my legs are straight and my back is not, like, I'm done."
No, so we're just saying, I got this call from Chris Whipple at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the hell is Chris want at 10 a.m.? No,
Yo, I usually don't get those calls from him at 10 a.m.
I was like, oh, something must be wrong. He's like, oh, back on. I was like, okay, dude, just come through. I got you.
Yeah, straight up, and he did too, man. He pulls up this metal stupid
Oh, yeah,
boomerang,
the boomerang.
and he's like, "Hey, hope you're tough."
Whoa.
Yeah.
What is this boomerang?
Alright,
What are we
it's-
talking about here?
It's
What's
like
He's
magic.
He's a sadist.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic.
Hey, PJ, we already know. Yeah.
Like,
So go on, tell us. What is this?
So what I did to Chris was
Go
called.
on, tell us.
he wants to order one right now.
Yeah.
So the technique I do is called grasping, right? So I literally take this big metal tool. Don't worry, it's not sharp. It's a blunt blade, and I'm just scraping
No
his
worries,
back.
it's not
It's a
sharp.
blunt blade. Samurai swords were blunt too, and they still cut through folk.
He goes, so I literally
I don't
take
know if
this
that's true.
big metal tool.
Yeah.
No worries, it's not sharp.
Well, that was nice. I used a small. I have a bigger one too.
All right. You need to
Little one,
continue
you
on
know?
with your story. So go on.
And just broke up muscles in his back. They were a little tight.
He
So I
did
just,
break up shit.
Yeah,
in my
broke him
back.
up.
It was insane.
And hey, he got loose and he loosened up, able to adjust them and got them straight. So pretty much what happens is when your muscles get all tight, they stick together, build adhesions in the tissues. And when I do the grasping tool, it breaks it up, smooths it down, and you feel good.
That's what's up. So I heard an analogy once. I believe, actually from a doctor you and I both know.
Yeah.
He once mentioned that like when you get chiropractic treatment,
Yeah.
it's almost like when you're stepping on a water hose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you let the pressure off of that water hose, and so the water is able to flow freely.
Correct.
And so your nerve, so where you have pressure, it's being pinched, it's whatever. Once you get all of that relieved out, it actually allows your entire nervous system to flow better.
That's
It's
absolutely
not
correct.
just the bones or the pain point.
Right.
It's
the
everything.
Nerves. I mean, think about it this way, right? Your brain's connected to the spinal cord, and then the nerves come out, right? So how does your muscle know what to do? The brain tells it. How does the brain tell it? Through the nerves. So if your nerve is pinched, you're not getting a good
So
signal.
you're not. That makes total sense. I mean, it's
Wow.
it's 100% accurate. So like you're literally there's an impedance or an impedance or whatever
In the signal.
on the signal. That makes
Exactly.
oh yeah. Okay, cool.
So, we
So
open
how
it
do you
up.
guys? So where do you learn or how do you know? Where to crack the hell out of my back to make that feel better, bro? Like how does that
let me,
right?
let me pull up. How do
Okay.
you not paralyze me when you
Yeah,
crack my neck?
yeah. Straight up.
Oh.
Like how do you crack the neck and know that that's where it's at or whatever?
You know what, dude? Honestly, people ask me that all the time. They're like, weren't you scared? And I was like, no. I mean, here's the thing, right? When I went to school, I had been adjusted so many times that I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I was actually more excited than scared when they turned me loose to the public. I was like, oh shit, I get to do this? You know? I don't know. We're in school, we're in classes, we learn, like, I think it was how to adjust people. So you're in class, you're just learning all the monotonous routine of how to do it.
Mm.
And then one day they're finally like, go do it. And you're like, oh shit, I get to do this.
Yeah.
So the fear was never there. Like and even to this day, like I'm hardly ever afraid to adjust someone unless they're like, oh, well, I broke my neck a year ago. I'm like, whoa. Okay.
You're right.
That's
Hey,
different,
take it
you know,
easy.
but
Is
yeah,
that why you
it's-
rolled in here?
Right? But man, really just feel it. I mean, honestly, you just take your hands, you feel it.
So you literally, like you're saying, you feel it. Like you go through and you actually
It's
understand.
like, this
you kind
is
of
not like this. So here's a problem. and you just
So there's a lot to be said for a doctor then that is, 5, 7 years in versus a new doctor.
correct.
And it's nothing against the new doctor, but a lot of what I'm understanding is what you're telling me is feeling
Exactly.
and really knowing your way
There's a
around.
reason why they call it practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
In all
Punch.
aspects
Yeah.
of medical. Don't get me started on that.
But I mean, so I think that's important, right? Because any kind of doctor, you and I have had conversations. We've talked about other doctors, whether it's chiropractic, whatever the like. You want somebody that has that experience, right? Like, and I don't in any way, shape, or form want to take away from new doctors because, hey,
How you get
they're-
experience?
how do you get your
Exactly.
experience?
Yeah,
Exactly. So that being said, there is value to having that experience, right? So there's no way around that. I
Right.
don't think,
Well,
right?
for some people it's different,
And
right?
you're spot on, Dari. Right?
I
Like, how do
had-
you get that experience?
I've had friends who went through school and graduated, and they were like top notch. I think they graduated as good as I was 3 years out.
Right.
I've had friends that I'm really close with who have been out the same time as me, and I still think they have some learning to do. So you can't really put them in a box, so to speak, but generally speaking, a more seasoned doctor is going to have better hands, so to speak, than a newer doctor.
Makes total sense.
I feel like you could argue both sides of it because I can't speak as a doctor because I failed out of
Wait,
high
why can't
school
you speak as a
probably.
doctor? I'm confused about that.
Hey, but because I was trying to think of something. I
Because
was like, I'm gonna be witty. No, I'm not.
Witty
But like
Will?
with a cop, man, like the
See.
rookies, like if you wanted to know the law, you went to the rookies because they just memorized everything. Whereas the
That makes
old
sense. I can
heads,
see that.
if you wanted to be safe, you went to the old heads. The old heads, the guys that were on the streets for a really long time, knew it.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking at a problem differently. Sometimes looking at it at a different angle. The younger generation. Sometimes it's you get a different feel and a different look at something. You can end up fixing something that
You're right.
maybe could have been.
I mean, I can see that argument, but I think that when we're young and we're fresh out of school and we know all this stuff, it's like paralysis by analysis, right? We just sit here like, oh, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this.
Makes total sense.
And when you're out of school, you're like, you know what? I've
Let's
seen
just
this like
actually
10 times
attempt this.
already. I'm just gonna do this real quick and we'll see what happens,
I mean, that's life in general, right? Like
Yeah.
Dario, you've played sports, right? So it's
Well,
once or twice.
Can you
refresh us
I've played a
if you
couple
play
things,
sports?
but
Yeah. Hey
Um,
Dario, I'm sorry. Have you ever you've played a sport once or twice?
But I'm gonna make a real quick correlation to one of my COs when I was active duty in the Marine Corps. Said he goes, well, bad judgment that comes from experience, and experience that comes from bad judgment.
100%. Man. That's so.
It was
Yeah.
so like
That was the point I was trying to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
right? Like, unfortunately, you don't know on the field or otherwise in the Marine field, right?
Right.
That you made a mistake until you make that mistake, but you learn from that and you move forward. Unfortunately, in life, a lot of the times you can't learn unless you make those mistakes,
I'm gonna
right?
take a
Like,
quote from Maya Angelou: "Do your best until you know better, and when you know better, do better."
dude.
Nice.
All right,
Hey.
so.
Right?
All right, so
Dig
we're
that.
done. Hey guys, thanks for joining
Wrap
us
it up.
tonight.
You're good.
Yo, we fixed that.
Wrap it up, B. Hey, what's the Dave Chappelle? Wrap it up, B.
He did high.
Yeah.
He did high.
Hell yeah. So Dr. Reon, man, so where were you at in life, or what I guess what made you say, hey, this is the route I want to go. I want to be a chiropractic doctor. I want to move in this direction. I want to be able to help and affect people in this way.
My route is messed up, right?
Oh, I
Great
can't wait to hear that.
podcast.
Hell yeah. I was all, I'm
Well,
going to sit back.
it's
I got
like
time
that.
for this.
It's not like that, right? So just to be honest here, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a doctor because my parents told me to be a doctor. But they're like, oh, you should be a doctor. And I was like, okay, I like science, like all this stuff, right? No, it's
That
cool.
makes sense.
So,
they make a lot of money, whatever.
Yeah, I gotta pay bills, So I went to school, was pre-med. I was pre-med chemistry. Didn't realize that chemistry involved a lot of math, and I hated math. So yeah.
See what had happened was.
That'd be a lot of history, some grammar.
It's like cover frogs and stuff and just have fun. That's what I want to do.
Some frogs and stuff and have fun.
And I was like, wait, hold on, I gotta do add subtraction. No, that ain't for me. So changed me to bio pre-med, which I thought would be a little bit easier. Nah.
He was also
not
I
really.
changed to bio pre-med.
Changed to bio pre-med instead. And so I went through the few years and I had friends like, I'm gonna be an MD. And I was like, well, I got like a 3.0 GPA and falling, so I think I might not go to med school.
That's
You know? And so I was like, okay, well, and honestly, the MD life just wasn't for me. Like, it was.
whoa. What is the MD life, and what do you mean it
You're
wasn't for
in
you?
school forever.
Okay, that makes
You
oh
know?
yeah.
And
So you're a
even when
consummate student.
in like 8
Even
years
when
to
you start, right? I mean,
Yeah, 8 years to start, then your residency, which you're getting paid for, but you're
Right.
still someone's slave. And then if you
Man.
really want to be something, there's fellowship, and there's, I was like, no. I don't
I'm
really
so
like
glad
medicine
I never
that
knew that.
much. Yeah,
It's like 16 years, right?
Yeah,
And
literally,
then
like
you
you
have to
school
start-
on top of school.
Yeah, it's 16 years, and then you start specializing.
Yeah.
After 16 years.
So, no, I'm good.
So we had last week we had Eli Planner in here, and he's essentially a doctor. I mean, he was saying like so he's a paramedic on the Air Life. So I guess the top
Was.
kind of
Was.
was. So he's like, yeah, man, like I do chest tubes, I do whatever surgery on the go, in flight, while we're zipping around the city. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, bro.
What's sad about it, man, is those guys that roll on on the ambulance.
Yeah. We learned about the box.
On the box. The
Yeah.
guys that roll in the box to sound cool. They're like really little surgeons going everywhere, getting $15 an hour.
They're there to save your life.
They're
$15 an
It's
hour,
absurd.
and they're the things that's keeping you alive to go to the real surgeons. You know what I mean?
And then we talked a little bit about the what are they called, Dario? The Marine Corps version of it.
Oh, Corpsman.
No, not the corpsmen. The ones that come in and save them.
Oh, PJs.
The medics, the PJs, the
Those
PJs.
are Air Force.
Oh,
PJs.
dude, are they Air Force? Yeah, whatever.
Different branches.
Yeah,
So we
different
saw
branches,
I saw a Nat Geo video about like these guys that come in and they're like, yo, these guys when a Navy SEAL is down, this dude jumps in and rescues them, and you're like, it's a little perspective there, you know?
Out of the helicopter,
Yeah,
neutralizes everything.
100%. He's like, yo, I go into the field, I shoot people, like kill them dead real good. You know what I mean? And then the guy that I'm there to get, I get him, I roll him up, do whatever, tracheotomy, do whatever I need to do, load his ass up, put him on a girdle or whatever, and we roll him up and we bail out, bro. And he's like, I don't know what it's called, whatever, gurney, sorry. Hey, either way, the whole time this dude just like, I'm out here killing it, you know, like it's nuts, man, that these people, like, humans are awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible, you know. So not to deviate or go away from, but getting back to your perspective.
I want to point something out real quick because he said something earlier, and I think that you can tell a person's success in life or at least in their young adulthood by what they wanted to be when they grow up. So let's take a poll real quick. You said you wanted to be what when you grew up as a child? An MD.
Yeah.
You want to be a doctor, and here you are, a doctor, just a different version. You're not an MD,
specialty.
right? Different
Yeah.
specialty in chiropractic. What did you want to be?
Fighter pilot, man. Always wanted to be a fighter pilot.
And he's now a successful business owner.
Yeah, definitely not a fighter pilot, but
Right.
still wanted to be a fighter pilot.
You succeeded. That's my point.
Oh,
You
yo,
succeeded
for
in-
sure,
right?
for sure. Like,
PJ, astronaut, and
He-
now that he's our tech guru, knows everything about it, right?
he is the
Dario.
astronaut.
Honestly, I had no idea.
Okay.
And that's so fair, bro.
and
That's
the-
so real.
and that's the honest truth.
And you found
No.
your way through competition.
I just kind of
and-
found my way, man, because things happened to me at an early age, and I didn't know where I was going. I just wanted to be successful, and
Yeah.
I think I'm doing okay.
Dude, that's what's, but
Yeah,
that's
no idea.
also, that is more reminiscent, I would say, of today's population, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't know. What about you, man?
Well,
You're
and
talking about
if you
everybody else?
if you ever wonder why my content's not on point, I honest to God, I wanted to be a trash man.
Oh, what?
I'm
What?
not lying to you. I wanted to be a trash man. I wanted to roll in the side of a trash truck so bad.
So let me say this. So
And
we're all
you're-
laughing. We're all yeah. It's not funny. Don't say
But no,
that ever on
like-
there. No, I'm just kidding. But here's the deal. Hey, the people don't realize the importance of trash men, garbage men in
Straight up,
The
society.
sanitation
Yeah.
The
workers.
sanitation worker is next to doctors in terms of health of an entire society.
Yeah.
So Wilwell's out here joking, but the reality is they're just as important as doctors.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. And you can be literally, the Romans figured this out and they understood that garbage
Yeah.
men, the sanitation services were just as important.
Completely
They
right.
built aqueducts, they built everything in line with that because of the importance of not allowing that disease to spread and
Right.
become bacterial there, right?
Yeah.
You look at anything that we do now, man, Dude, avian flu. What's the one that's been real hip right now? The bird flu, the avian flu. There's another big one, right?
Swine flu was big for a while.
Yeah.
Right. No. It's coming from the mosquitoes. Nile,
West
the
Nile.
Nile, West Nile, right? So,
West Nile.
but man, but think about this. All of these things are brought together because of trash,
Right.
because of unsanitary pools of water where
Yeah.
mosquitoes are able to ferment and grow and whatever. It's crazy, man. Like we don't give enough credence to these people and what they do to our entire life. But the idea of a civilization without a sanitation system is non-existent. It doesn't
I'll
exist.
throw one more in there with
Please do.
18-wheeler drivers.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was another
Yeah.
something I wanted to
If
do.
you
I
think
still
about
think
everything
about
that we own, we wear.
It's got to get to us.
It has to.
Yeah.
I think those men and women are very as well as sanitation.
So
are very underrated, undervalued.
I want to make a little kind of a shameless statement. You know, PJ and I talk about it all the time. One of the things that we love about Samsung, right, is the fact that like when their parts are built in South Korea, made, shipped on a Samsung boat, unloaded by Samsung forklifts into a Samsung plant into Tennessee, is it Tennessee, right? In the middle of America, built by Samsung robots. Like everything is all in house. It's so cool, man. It's such an unbelievable like design experience. And to your point, nobody realizes the value of that of the entirety of the process. It's not a matter of, yo, I got this phone in my hand or this tablet. It's a matter of this entire thing came across the ocean in multitude of parts that was then put together for us to consume in a way that is pleasurable for us to be able to build on society. And going back to what you guys are talking about, whether it's an 18-wheeler driver or otherwise, all of these parts are moving infrastructures that are necessary for us. It's nuts, man.
I had I think it was an economics class or some business class or something like that. One of my tries at college, and he actually,
Hey, dude, that's what the American dream is, bro. What are your tries? Go.
He had this exercise. He says, I want you to build a business from the ground up, right? So decide what you want to do, and we're going to work backwards. And then he poked holes through everything, and the holes that he poked was like, if I wanted to create a music studio, he's like, great. So name every part.
Will wanting to create a music studio? Nah, that's not him.
Every part of the process is as deep as you could, and it was impossible to do because I say, okay, well, I need an engineer and I need equipment and I need this, and this, and I need clients and all that. And then he was like, great, what about your building? Well, yeah, I need a building. And who built the building? Oh, well, a builder built the building. And what did he use to build it? Well, he used lumber. Well, who cut the lumber down?
It's the tin stoffel.
Yeah. And the same with the equipment and all this stuff. It spiders out.
So have you guys ever heard of tin stoffel?
I haven't, but I said yeah because I was going to roll.
Well, it's the first rule of economics. Hey, but you see how you did that? I love that.
Yeah. I'm always golden. So yeah.
It is. There is no such thing as a free lunch, right? No. So the reality is there is no such thing. You guys are, everybody who's successful gets these mailers in the mail, right? Come to our free lunch, right, at Perry's or wherever. You're going to hear about 401ks and whatever, and like, great. Here's the reality. It's not a free lunch. Somebody paid for it, right? Mm-hmm. So you may not have had paid for it. That's okay. Somebody did. And to exactly what you're saying, if you carry that out all the way down to the bottom, like at the end of the day, it's always paid for by somebody, somewhere, somehow. There is no such thing as a free lunch, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Tin stoffel, bro.
So moving from tin stoffel, I said it right?
You did. Hey, yo, that was a really good pivot.
Move that back to college because I kind of derailed us. I apologize.
So
tell me.
I did every other medical profession under the sun. I looked in dentist and I was like, sticky breath, not for me. Then I finally fell on like PT, right? And I was like, oh, cool, PT, I'll check that out.
What is PT for?
Oh, sorry, physical therapy.
Okay, physical
therapy.
So
I did like hundreds of hours in the hospital with that. And it was cool, but I was never like in love with it. So I didn't really go too far with that. Mm-hmm. Then like teacher was like, you should be a chiropractor. And I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, what?
So you'd never been to one before?
I'd never been to one. I heard of it, but it wasn't like something that I really knew much about.
Okay.
And so I started doing a little research, looking into it. I was like, oh, wait, there were their patients using their hands, like, okay, cool, natural health, like no drugs, perfect. So I called this guy in my town. I was like, hey, can I come and shadow you? And he's like, sure, come on by.
That's
And
awesome.
like legit, open the door.
Where is this? What town?
Oh, from Luling, Louisiana.
Oh,
Out
so
to
you,
Luling. Yeah.
okay,
Wow.
cool. So this is like I don't know that town. So is this a small town or?
Small town, about 30 minutes outside of New Orleans.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yo. Well, we'll talk about that here in a second. All right, finish this story,
Yeah,
and then we're gonna go on there.
And so I opened
dat?
this door.
Got a lot of angry Cowboys fans.
Yeah,
right
hey,
now.
it's good.
Yeah.
Yo, not angry. Cowboys fans that are getting realized that life is real now. You know what I mean?
Salty. Right now. It's
Hey,
salty.
my bad. Go on. Sorry.
And legit, like, his patients were happy. Everyone else was happy. They gave him hugs. He was like, the shit. And I was like, I want to be that guy.
Nice.
And
Was that your aha moment?
like legit,
That was
I was like,
this
I
is
can
it.
do this. Like, this is for me. And never looked back.
So you have that aha moment. You're in Luling, Louisiana. You're
Yeah.
like, yo, this is it. I shadowed this guy. We're good.
Yeah.
And then it's what? It's now I go to school for this, or now I what's the path after that?
After
What does that look like?
And now timeline gets a little fuzzy.
And is it that clear? Is it like you're
It
literally
was
there?
fuzzy.
You're
Hold
like,
on, fuzzy because college.
yeah, let's go fuzzy.
Yeah.
Hey, fuzzy.
Well, you know.
No, but
I
for
think
real.
I like literally just graduated college and
Okay.
I had gotten a job in the lab, so I was putting some money in my pocket. And so somewhere between meeting this guy, I like went to this seminar for the school that I wanted to go to.
Right.
And it was somewhere downtown New Orleans, some fancy hotel. I walked up in there.
Which one?
and
I love
Wow.
downtown New Orleans. I'm just saying,
Some
yeah.
French name.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
something
that's
like
another
that.
hey, that's
Right.
another story for another episode.
And I met the president of the school. And this dude was cool as shit. I was like, fuck, everybody in this person is cool as hell. Like, so like I met him, he showed me around. I did to all these little seminars and everything they had there. I applied like the next week, got in, and I could have started right then and there, but I was like, shit, I'm broke. So I worked for a few more months.
Right.
So I graduated college in like May. By January the next year, I was in chiro school.
Dude, that's what's up. So this is all in New Orleans, or where's this at? Sorry.
So all this went down New Orleans.
Okay, so
from
what
there
school
I
are you at? What
Oh, so I moved to Dallas for school.
okay,
So I went
so
to Parker College.
North Texas or
Chiropractic.
Park okay.
Yeah, in Dallas. And I was there for, I guess, 3 years what school was, 3-4 years, something like that. That was so long ago now.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna cut the school off because I want to talk about New Orleans.
Yeah,
Or,
go
I'm
for
just
it.
saying. I'm sorry. I'm like
New
chomping
Orleans
at the
with
bit here.
Cowboys.
All right. All right.
No, all right. You guys talk about school. I'll sit back.
No,
Go ahead.
he was just hoping. He's like trying to feed it out. Like,
Yeah.
did you go to school in
Where?
New Orleans?
Where was he's all?
Or he's
No,
like,
it was in
have
Dallas.
you
I was
been
like,
to Mardi Gras.
Let him
Cool.
finish.
Let's talk
We'll
about
get
New
back.
yeah, we'll get back.
Go
We'll get back.
ahead.
You're right.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, but that's pretty much it. I went to chiro school and graduated. And
You make it sound so cool.
How'd
Chiro
you
school,
end
Egypt.
up back here in Texas? Like,
okay, so here's the thing, right? So I did grow up in a small town in New Orleans, and like 87% of my family is there.
I like that it was some random 87%.
Yeah, 87.
It wasn't like
it's
90%,
it's not 90,
85. He was like
it's totally not 90.
87.32% of my family. If you look at the numbers, really, you know.
Right, it's less than 90, but no more 75%, somewhere in the middle, keep the number out there. And honestly, I just didn't want to go back to the same thing I knew, something different.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want to be in Dallas. Let's do it from home. I love home,
Dallas
but don't want
is,
to be
there's
home.
a lot of stuff there. It's a
Oh yeah,
good
it's a great
town.
city. It
yeah.
just wasn't for me.
No?
It was too far from home. Like I wanted to literally be like a car ride for my parents.
Okay, so you were trying to be a little more.
A little closer, but still far away.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so then I moved to Houston, and I practiced there for about 4 or 5 years, and then I came out here, San Antonio. So
So why not Houston?
Houston sucks.
Oh.
Yo. Oh.
Oh,
Hey, shots
like,
fired.
Yeah.
I was
No,
gonna say I kind of
no,
like Houston,
but
but
let's
Let's
say
okay.
everybody
Yeah,
goes back.
Houston's
yeah.
a great city for
But it
to
sucks.
live in. As a chiropractor, you will get raped by other chiropractors there.
Yeah,
I mean,
eaten
I've
alive.
got eaten
Yeah.
alive by so many docs there. My advice to any person who's in chiro school and wants a job, do not look for it in Houston because they will get you.
So actually, I want to talk about that. So take a step back. It's not just Houston, right? Like, if you're new into an industry
Mhm.
and there's an establishment there, you're gonna get eaten alive wherever you're at. right? So how do you approach that as a young up and coming business person, as somebody that's trying to make a way for yourself and a name for yourself, but you also have to deal with that establishment. Not everybody can just pack up and move the city they're in,
True.
right? Like
Well, I
so.
would say like in the chiropractic world, that's the one that I know. I would say while you're in school, your last year or so, you need to be out there networking, meeting doctors you might
You need
want to
what?
work
I'm
for.
sorry. What is that? What is that, Reon? What is it? Bring it back.
Networking.
Hey, take it easy.
Because that's how you will weed out the jerks from the people that are genuine.
So
You know?
I feel like no matter who's in the chair that you're in, right? It all comes back to, at the end of the day, a matter of knowing the people around you,
Yeah.
and networking with the right individuals in the right place.
Yep.
It seems like, however you want to say it, at the end of the day, it is a matter of your network represents you.
Correct.
It is, in essence, an extension of who you are,
Mhm.
right? And your network then allows you the ability to reach out or not.
Yeah.
And people that don't recognize that, it just seems like, man, like you're making it harder for yourself. Like, people, we're here for each other for a
Right.
reason, right? Like,
Literally every friend that I have in this room, and I call every single one of you friends, I
love
know
you. Damn, me
through
too.
networking.
Yeah.
Right? We literally met at a networking event,
Exactly.
which you later became a member of the board on.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me about that. What is that?
So it's San Antonio Professionals. It's an organization here in San Antonio that helps engage young people in the city. We find a lot of people who come to San Antonio, they want to go to Austin, or they get here and they're like, there's nothing to do here. But there's plenty to do here.
There's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
What?
There's plenty to do here. You just have to be plugged in.
Yeah.
So what we do is we get those things that they're out there for us to do. We get young people, we bring them to these events and show them that this city actually has a lot to offer if you're willing to be out there and experience it.
So tell me about plugged in, because I feel, maybe I'm wrong, I feel like plugged in has this kind of negative connotation to it, right? Almost like hustler, right? Like in the sense of like, oh, you're out there hustling, oh, you have to be plugged in. That's not it at all,
No,
right?
hustling
Like,
to me is like, it's my theme song. Like, I mean,
baby, I just want you to
I
know.
mean,
Yo,
that's what I'm
yo,
doing.
you came in hot with that, man. That's right on point,
Wait,
man. Yeah.
Wait,
People
Hey.
ask what you're doing. I'm hustling for these patients because that's what you're doing. You're out there. You're making a name for yourself. That's what hustling is.
Agreed so much. My point is, and to kind of extrapolate on that, like,
Yeah.
the idea of being plugged in and knowing the right people, like, man, I got news. It's not about what you know, it's who you know,
Who you know,
right?
yeah.
It's your network. And anybody that wants to sit here and say otherwise is, you can say what you want, but here's the reality, right? It's not negative to be plugged in.
Not at all.
It's not negative to hustle. It's not negative to want to know the right people in the right places. It's proactive.
Exactly.
It's being smart
If you want something, you got to go out there and get it, right?
right.
So, like,
in any sense, right?
exactly. Let's say you're new to a city, right? And you're sitting at home saying, "Oh, I have no friends. There's nothing to do here in this city." Did you go there and look for it?
Right.
If
Oh,
you're
I
not
have
trying-
no business. No clients are coming to me.
In
Same
any
thing.
exactly,
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, that's what being plugged
so-
in is all
you're spot on.
about. It's
Yep.
plugging yourself in, making yourself available to receive what's coming your way.
So talk about that. So what do you mean by making yourself available? What does
Putting
that look
yourself
like?
out
What does
there,
that mean?
You gotta go talk to people.
Well, I don't know, Reon, it seems like if you're just out there, it just seems like you're desperate.
No,
No?
not at all.
Tell me about that. What do you mean?
I mean, desperate is begging.
Yeah.
See?
Mhm.
If you're just out there and you're saying, "Hey, this is me, that's what I have to offer." Oh, you're into that? Cool. Well, who are you?
Right.
Who do you have to offer? You know. And
Hey, and by the way, jokingly, oh, I'm not into chiropractic. Oh, I'm not into feeling better about my back. Like, okay. Cool. Yeah.
So, and
No,
that's
you're so
what it
right.
is, you know?
And I was setting you up. I was obviously being facetious about
Yeah,
the
of
question, right?
course,
Like,
yeah.
but the point is, you're so right. Like, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. The idea that people are just going to find you and people are going to say, yo, Reon's the greatest, right? Chris is the greatest, whatever. Dario, PJ is the greatest. Like, maybe, but you've got to be able to put it out there and let them find you and have that ability to have that access.
The thing I say is you are in charge of your destiny, and that sounds so cheesy, right?
No.
But listen to this. So let's say, had I moved here,
Right. I was like, oh, shit, this is
Listen,
going to be good.
had I moved here, right? Put up a sign, made a website, and said, where the patient's at? I'd be broke. I'd be like, work for someone else right now. I'd be like under. But I was like, okay, this is what I want. I want my practice to look like this. I want to do this. I want to see these kind of people.
So that's an incredible point. So what does that look like? Okay, so I want to hear this. So you starting out, you're brand new. You're right. We all come out with the shotgun approach, and we go, yo, everybody's got to have chiropractic service. Like, boom. You said no. Here's the sniper. Here's the whatever laser approach. What does that look like? How did you build that business? Tell me about that.
So literally, like I said, I was in Houston. I worked in different practices. I learned a whole lot about what I didn't want. Right?
What do you mean? Elaborate.
So I worked with doctors who were like, we need 30 new patients this month.
So it's a matter of volume versus actual service.
I had people who were like, I'm only going to do car accident people because I don't want to treat people. I just want to do that.
Learn all the do nots.
All
the do nots.
Right. And what you learn from business though is, right?
Well, so elaborate real quick. Sorry, because I've been in the advertising game. I get the car accident thing. So most people elaborate on that. What do you mean you do car accidents? Personal injury is a
huge big business, and I am in it. But that's the only thing that I do. You have to diversify your practice and your business in general, right? If you say I'm only going to work with billion-dollar clients, how many are there out there?
Well,
how many do you need?
Yeah, I was just gonna say again, if we're going to volume versus quality, right? Like you're right. Like all you need is the one.
But it depends.
You get Thomas J. Henry to start sending you some leads.
I'd send him away.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is a new avenue. I want to hear about this.
Model, right?
No, this is for real.
So
let's hear
Thomas
this.
J. Henry is a volume.
That's all
straight volume. So they don't care about the patient, the case, liability, anything like that. They want to sign you, get you treated. If your case fails or no liability is there, they're like, screw it. I go to the next one.
It's Thomas J. Henry. They don't care.
I treat this patient for 20 visits. I'm getting nothing on it. It's like, I can see another one. Who wants to work for free?
Let me recap what he just said. Use Dr. Bailey because he gives a shit.
Like legit. For real though. Like,
you're not chasing a check, man. You want to help people.
I'm here to help people, and I'd rather get quality people that are going to refer and help me out and understand my struggle than to have people just come into my office like assembly line.
The last three guests actually echoed that very thing. It's about personal relationships that we have. And those connections you make with people, right?
Mm-hmm. So yes. Also, I would say that it doesn't, to your point, PJ, the last three guests, and they're in every opposite fashion of business, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. It's all about that personal service, that personal relationship. And more so these days where it's coming back to that, I think the pendulum, right? You always hear the example of the pendulum swings, right? Like we went through a pendulum where it was like, yo, everything's online, everything's Amazon, everything's cost.
Yeah.
Yo, I can get this for $2 and it'll be delivered tomorrow. Well, here's the thing. Nowadays, people are going, I'd rather pay $5 and talk to the guy about it.
You can actually see that like Blockbuster and video stores are trying to make a comeback
100%.
Because everybody's tired of Netflix and you want to go on a Friday night and
imagine the notion, dude, to your point, that people are tired of Netflix.
Right.
And Netflix is going away.
To your point, it's exactly like, why haven't Amazon taken over? Why hasn't the internet just killed retail? It's because people want that connection, man. They want, these phones now, like in my field, they're $1,000+ you're going to walk in there and talk to somebody, you're going to want that affirmation that, yes, I want to spend $1,000 on this. You want to talk to somebody and say, how does this device work? And you want to know those people, man. And it's very similar in your practice, I think, and in the medical field, and it's just going forward in general with this disconnect within our internet world where you can connect with everybody, but are you really connected, man? Like text messaging as opposed to talking to someone face to face. What's that connection really feel like?
I think you're spot on, man. I think you and I are privy to a little bit of information that we are able to get from corporate on the inside. So there's two what were they? Two verticals, two businesses that basically don't make any kind of trend in internet buying. One of them is cell phones, and the other one is groceries, right? And here's why: because if you're going to spend $1,200 on a cell phone, you want to go feel it, you want to look at it, you want to see it, right?
Right.
if you're gonna buy some limes for $2, you want to smell them, right?
Yeah.
Here's the weird thing. Here's what's so cool about where we're at in San Antonio. HEB. Have you guys been to an HEB recently? Have
Yeah.
you seen their curbside to go?
Yeah.
So HEB is the anomaly.
Tried it.
In all, we all have. Here's why. We trust HEB. So HEB is the anomaly in all of grocery
Well-
store. It doesn't exist anywhere else.
On this point, me and my lady, we tried the curbside service for the first time.
Yeah.
And my lady is, besides her mom and my grandmother, rest in heaven, the best cook I have ever eaten a meal from.
Yo, you talking big game,
Right.
bro? Where's that food at?
Yeah.
Hey.
She'll listen to this, and she stands by her cooking. First time we tried it, I went up, picked up the groceries, brought them back to the crib. Just to your point, Chris, she goes, I wouldn't have picked these vegetables. I wouldn't have picked these bananas. Like, she wasn't completely disappointed in the experience because it was convenient.
Right.
It was accurate.
But that
You know
being
what
said,
I mean? It was to the point. I think they got the oatmeal wrong, but that's neither here or there. But to exactly your point, she goes, well, these aren't the right bananas, or the red pepper, or the green pepper I would have gotten, or the onion.
right,
So
man.
it's
So
so on and
it's
so forth,
rare
right?
that people trust other people to be
Right.
able to go and shop for them when it
Right.
comes to groceries. We have a anomaly here as HEB, right? And in this conversation, obviously, got a little bit derailed in terms of where we're talking about.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it really comes back to that personal service. And like, I get it. Things can change based on who the provider is,
Yeah.
right? To your point, it's all about that service that you're giving to the individual. It's
Correct.
not about the big box, one size fits all. We're gonna do a sell and everybody gets 50% off. It's not about that. It's about here's where you're hurt, here's where I can help you.
Yeah.
Here's how I'm gonna make
And-
this establishment
And
be
I
better.
just want to highlight on Dr. Bailey's point. Like, I'm not a doctor.
Wait, hold on. Somebody fire this guy. We hired him because we thought he was a doctor.
I can relate in a sense.
Glad you didn't know your mother was an athlete.
But as a former athlete turned personal trainer, I mean, to this day, I still have 6 active certifications. So I got to work with all different types of people, socioeconomic background, injuries, ages, sizes, and stories. And you get to hear their stories. You get to hear, I had this surgery, this, right? I've had 8 surgeries myself. And you can't treat everyone the same.
No.
You know, different patients react different
Very
ways,
differently.
different pain thresholds, different, ticking points. I mean, it's like you're not going to treat a 19-year-old athlete the same way you would a 59-year-old
Correct.
house mother.
Absolutely.
And so just having that humanistic value about,
Well, and being able to understand the
chiropractor,
approach.
you know what I mean?
PJ, you had some.
So, Dr. Bailey, speaking of that, great point. I mean, was there any training in that? How to handle different patients and different dams and,
Yeah.
and different looks and
That-
feels like
that
That's
is-
that's a great, yeah, especially with nowadays. Sorry, not to jump in, but you're spot on
you
with. Yeah, well, I'm the guy with the mic, so that's what I do sometimes. Yo, but no, because I want to elaborate on that, but also especially with the, let's be honest. Nowadays, there's a hot topic on the hashtag Me Too, on the, how do you
Yeah.
how do you approach that, and how do you, I mean, that's
It-
got to be a touchy
that's-
subject, no?
That's the term practice, right? You try, you get it wrong, you fix it the next time.
But when you get it wrong on something like that, that's
you
not
apologize profusely.
okay. So do you have errors and omission like insurance or?
Now I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to work through that
No. What
now.
I mean is like, in terms of your practice,
Yeah.
you're obviously you set yourself up for some risk, right?
Right, of course.
So what are some of the things that you do proactively to negate some of those risks or kind of mitigate them, if you will?
Before I do anything to any patient, I explain what I'm doing.
Okay.
I say, hey, we're going to do an exam now. You will be sitting up for this exam. I'm going to stand behind you. I'm going to do this right now.
Which is huge because I think a lot of us, like any doctor, whether it's a chiropractor or otherwise, like just them telling the process along the way helps with that, no?
You need to know that I get so many patients that have been to other doctors and said, that guy didn't even talk to me. He just came in, gave me a needle, and walked out of the room.
Right.
And I'm like, he did what now? You know, that's like me
Yeah.
walking in the room, your face
Yep.
down, jumping on your back and saying, okay, you're good now, get out of here.
Yeah.
That's so rude, right?
Yeah.
So I always think about customer service is part of my job. And
Right.
I worked in retail for a long time going through college. So I get that aspect. So I
You
always
what retail?
worked in the mall.
All right.
Imagine
Imagine
that.
Imagine,
Customer having some support.
Exactly.
Go
customer service
figure,
back.
right?
So
Yeah.
you always want
You
to
had something
treat
to do?
people how you want to be treated. And so I always think about if I was sitting in that chair right now, what would I want the doctor to say to me? And that's what you do.
So you want a doctor to destroy you with a metal boomerang?
Chris is a little salty.
A little bit.
You need help. You need
A
help.
little bit. Hey, but
I
you know what?
actually-
I walked out upright. So
I actually do have a question for you. So, one of the cool things. So, as a doctor, as you're talking to these patients and you're kind of getting to know them, you're kind of like a detective too, right? Because people aren't really going to tell you what's really
Yes.
going on. I know Whitwell has some experience in this, like kind of talking to people and just like what's really behind your motives. Like, why are you really here to see
Yeah.
me? And trying to.
So legit, right? So
That's a
that is
great question,
one
man.
thing that I learned in a little bit of training that I have with another group. It's that what they told us to ask the patient, why are you here? And that's too forward, right? Because if you throw it at someone and they're gonna try to answer it, right? And you whatever you want to hear. So you talk to them about how they injured themselves, what might have happened. Read the paperwork. What kind of work do you do? Oh, I'm an accountant. You're at a computer all day, aren't you? Yeah, does your neck hurt while you're at work? All the time. So, okay, so do
Damn,
what you
I'm
want
like
to be able
cracking
to,
my
you
neck
know,
right now. Sorry.
work
It
without
does.
pain. Then you go down the paperwork and you're like, oh, you got a 4-year-old kid. Yeah, does he do anything important? Oh, well, he does this. Oh, so you have to carry him a lot, do you? Okay, so you want to be able to carry your kid.
So
And that's when you kind of hone in on. So it's playing detective, but you don't really ask the questions. You ask around it and let them.
well, it's not.
Eat
It doesn't sound like you ask around it. It sounds like you create a dialogue for conversation.
True.
It sounds like you're asking open-ended questions that then lead to more conversation, right? If you say, "Hey, does your neck hurt?" and the guy goes, "Yes or no," you're like, "Okay, well, that's a close-ended, right?" Like that's. But if you go, "Hey, do you pick up your kid and your neck hurts because you carry him on your shoulders?" and he goes, "Well, that might be," whatever the case. Like now, all of a sudden, you're uncovering dialogue.
right or wrong, at least 8 years was put into learning your craft
Correct.
in the collegiate field, right?
Mm.
So I think a lot of people don't know how to communicate efficiently because they don't know what he knows. And so the way that he asks the questions, I
Yeah,
don't know the
that's
proper
fair.
way
You're
to
right.
say,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
my LG7 whatever
You're
is
following
a
your neck.
centimeter to the left, or you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to
Yeah.
say that. And so when I say my neck hurts, where's my neck hurt? Right around
Well,
here.
And
That doesn't
doctor,
help you.
let's not get real specific because I don't want to get into the weeds, but it is that serious to the point where like if you literally crack a certain or align a certain bone or whatever in my back,
Yeah.
it'll help my shoulder feel better,
Correct.
right? Like so full disclosure, right? I was in a horrific motorcycle accident when I was 17, and I broke every rib on my left side and like most of them on the right, like just destroyed, dude. It was awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was fucking gnarly, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, yo, I've never had the same back ever since. So I've
Right.
always been in treatment ever since, and it's amazing. There's points in time where I cannot breathe, where I'm like, my lungs just literally on the right side there just can't get, and then I go get cracked out, and they're like, I'm like, yo, it's weird. I can breathe now. It's great.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's why have you not been here in 3 weeks? Like, you don't have to go through this, But it's a matter of having that experience and the professional that you trust and somebody that you can rely on
Right.
that is working in your best interest.
I wanna ask you another question.
Yeah.
So do you believe in chakra and
Ooh,
holistic medicines
nice.
and pressure points, acupuncture?
Yeah.
I
Realm.
believe in it if you do.
Wait, what does that mean? Be more
What that
specific.
means is everybody's body has specific needs. Okay. And I think that there is some validity in a lot of alternative medicine.
So
And
you're
chiropractic
willing to
is
work with
alternative.
individuals if they want that.
Absolutely. If I have a patient that I've been seeing and they've had some issue that I can only get so far with, I'm like, okay, listen, I've gotten you here. I think we're as far as we're gonna get. Go work with this person. Go work with that person. And they'll ask me, well, is that hocus pocus? It's like, I don't know. I don't practice that. I can't explain it to you.
That's fair though.
But
You're not saying one way or the other. You're saying, hey,
but
what?
you can go try
It
this
doesn't
out.
hurt.
And honestly, I mean, I have had so much feedback from patients that tried other things that has helped them that I'm open to.
What
it.
are the other things? What's
well,
one of
honestly,
the
one
main
thing
ones?
that I'm actually loving right now is acupuncture.
So is that's similar to like the meridian lines?
Correct.
And okay.
Now, I've never ever have had needles in me for acupuncture. I've had some dry needle for muscle work, but I have patients who have done that. It works for them. I've seen the difference. So I have a patient with a similar issue. I'm like, go talk to my friend who's acupuncturist.
Right.
Like he's helped this person. He can help you too. And I get good feedback. He's like, oh, he did this, he did this. I don't
So you
understand,
work
but
in
it worked.
conjunction with. It's a matter of like
You
trying to
have-
approach it from different angles and saying
I
all
can't
of this
fix
matters.
everyone alone. I can't do it. So
I want to make one point and
Yeah.
have one question. That's what you call lateral thinking, gentlemen.
What do you mean lateral?
Because a lot of, in my experience from being under the knife 8 times,
Once or twice.
He's like 57 over there.
I love how he's like, in my lo and behold, a little experience.
I've been under the knife more than I care to admit. but
No,
a
tell me
lot
about
of-
this, Dario. I
a
mean,
lot
so
of-
lateral,
a lot
what do you
of,
mean?
Doctors, MDs, in my opinion, they kind of get in the habit of thinking right here.
So you're saying that the ability to think outside of this gives you kind of lateral, like you can kind of move laterally with it.
Yes,
That
like
makes sense.
lateral
Okay.
thinking.
Yeah.
And my question, Dr. Bailey, is like, when I was a full-time trainer, I felt that my job was on some level to empower my client with knowledge.
right.
You know what I mean? Just to teach them, basic anatomy, your clavicle, your trap,
Right, right.
your how much does that come into your practice? Do you try and educate? Do your patients want to know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What?
It's
If you,
I have some
if you
patients
speak
who
a
are
little
like,
bit about that.
what is this? What do I have? And I'm like, I gotta talk to the doctor. I'm like, it's broke right here. But no, like I just try. I literally try to encourage them, explain things to them. I have some patients who something about knowing
Right.
what the hell is going on with them, and it helps the process, right? So I literally will get out a book and I'll be like, okay, this is your spine. This is where you are messed up. Do you see how this goes together? If this is here and this is there, it's not gonna work, right? And I'm like, absolutely. I was like, okay, so this is what's going on with you. Now let me tell you what I'm gonna do to fix that. And I go through and explain what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna explain how it's going to impact them and what they should expect. And
I'm sure
they're
they
golden.
appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They follow through because they see the roadmap, they see the plan, and they get it.
So I'm gonna cut in because Whitwell has a saying over here, right? This guy asking the doctor about I'm gonna call you out real hard. Yeah, this guy's asking the doctor about how do I help whatever. You know what this dude's the best way not to die from cancer? You know what his deal is?
Don't get cancer.
Never get no. He goes, never get diagnosed.
Yeah,
he's like, just don't go to the
I am 100 on that. I will stand by that right here on the show. Like,
Yeah.
legit.
I've never, and somebody's gonna call in
I've
or
heard
somebody's gonna
similar
come at me
stories.
and be like,
You
"My
never
uncle
heard
did,"
somebody be
but
like,
you never had
in
somebody-
today's news, this lady died and we found her dead because she had stage 5 terminal cancer.
Yeah.
Like that never happens.
It's
Like,
always I go, I'm stage 4, I'm dead. It's never the other way around.
I'm not laughing so loud.
I can see the logic.
I'll say this one joke. I got a friend of mine who's an orthopedic surgeon.
PJ's over here.
And he's an MD in North Carolina. And so one of his jokes he has
Give him that mic, bro.
when he sees a patient, they're like, hey, Dr. Stanley, my back hurts so bad when I wake up in the morning. He goes, well, wake up in the afternoon instead.
Yeah.
No, that's legit.
Dude,
I had a
exactly,
like,
bro.
I hate when it hurts when you do it. I was like, well, don't do that anymore. If it hurts when you do it, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
But I mean, all jokes aside, like we try to
Yeah.
we play with them about that. But I mean, some of this stuff is common sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Like some patients will do something really silly and they say, oh, when I do this, it hurts. And I'm like, then why are you doing that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like an elderly patient coming in saying, "Well, every time I try to do the splits, it really hurts my." Why? Why do you need to do the splits? Like, what do you?
No,
know,
I
when I
get
change
that.
when I chain
That's
myself up,
extreme.
ankles.
Hey,
For some
hey,
reason, I pulled
Whitwell
this
is out here
muscle.
saying this just because we had Summers on earlier, who was all about Rob Van Dam, bro.
Yo,
Yo, just don't stop trying to toss
And-
those fucking
and
names out,
he
bro.
is- Whatever. That's a whole nother
It's a- yo.
conversation for another day.
Hey,
Actually, I got one more question. I got
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more
yeah,
question.
go
Jump
ahead,
in, jump in.
It's the most popular guest we've had so far.
What's a pet peeve of yours? Like, obviously, taking care of your spine. What are some things that people do that just like irk you? You're just like, man, take better care of yourself. Don't sit like that.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
don't-
That's a great
don't-
It's
question.
not, it's not really the things that they do that bother me, because what you don't know, you don't know, right? It's after I see a patient, we treat them, we get them well. And I'm like, hey, look, you have X, Y, and Z condition, right? So we've got you feeling good, but you're going to have to maintain yourself, right? I get that patient that will call me at like 4:30 on a Thursday, dying because their back is killing them. They don't know what happened. I gotta see them right now. They don't understand why I don't see them. We get them in, and we're like, okay, so what's going on? Well, it's been hurting for like 2 weeks. I thought it would go away. And I got vacation tomorrow. I'm gonna go. And I just gotta go. I'm like, you have been hurting for 2 weeks. You are an adult. How is your problem my problem?
Listen
That's
to
a
your
pet
body,
peeve.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yo.
listen to your body.
If you hurt, get that stuff checked out. Don't wait until, oh shit, now I can't move. I gotta get in and see you. We've been through this. I already saw you when you couldn't the last time, Chris. So
Yeah,
don't wait
Throwing some
until the next
shade
time.
out here, bro.
Like the only time, and this is bad, I do some maintenance every so often. We're like, let me be on it. But outside of that, it's like, hey, I'm dying right now. Can you help me? That's just about it. And he's like, yeah, come on in. I got the boomerang.
Look at this magic man out here, bro. Hey, so I wanted to jump in. So you talk about having that presence and really people understanding where they're at in their own self-help, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be frustrating, right? To see all of your people come back and like, hey, I've already told you, start walking straight, start standing upright. So what's to the regular layman, to Chris and I, who sit here slouching, right?
My form is
Yeah,
perfect. It's perfection right now. He's
What's
looking at
some
me, sitting on a wallet too.
yeah? How do we?
We've discussed.
How do we get into a way where like, what are some quick tips to people just in terms of general posture and general
So-
helping each other out?
Posture is easy, right? You want erect back. You want the computer right in front of you. You want to always be looking right in front of you. Don't have your desk set up where your
I'm gonna
computer
do
is on your right and your seat's going forward and you're turning to the right.
All right.
These texting people who text walking with their face down.
Someone's
Yes.
car's getting jacked up there, by
Like-
the way.
What's going on?
We're
Yo,
gonna send all the
Hang on a
biggest
second.
food we got.
There
it's
out
all
we
there.
go.
good. Yeah. Hey, Dario's going. Love it.
Yeah. So the texting shit drives me crazy. Like legit in my office, in my waiting room, people will be sitting, head in the lap, texting. And you know what I'll do? I just go and
So
switch it
Push
up.
it. Yeah.
do I,
Raise the phone
do I
up.
text like this?
You text straight up.
Oh, man,
So
that's
no.
uncomfortable.
This is real.
Like,
So
seriously, no, I'm-
you legitimately
No,
you want to
legit.
text.
You text like this.
Huh.
Right in front of you.
So
Yeah.
I've got to ask that. So not only texting, but you're right. Everything we do, the screen, the computer, the TV, I lie in bed.
Phone posture.
Phone
looking at the
posture,
phone
everything.
posture. Are people getting that carpal tunnel in the
They're
back
getting
of the
that tech
skull?
neck.
Tech neck. That's a
Tech
real
neck.
thing.
That's a real thing. It's actually a diagnosis now. Like people who have pain right there.
Hold on
Neck.
1 second. Sorry about that.
Go check it out.
Who's
It's a Nissan?
Is it broken into?
No.
Okay.
It's just going on.
Hey,
is that you?
hey, that's how you know it's good. Yeah.
Is that-
Oh, we're good.
Sorry,
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Go
Yes,
on,
sir.
please.
Yeah, so the texting thing, tech neck, that drives me crazy. What else can you do? Walking. We're all business people here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So look at it this way. Let's say you're at a networking event and you see this cat walk in. He's like shoulders forward, slunched down. He's like walking around. Do you want to visit with him?
Hell
Or
no.
the guy who
It's
walks
all about
in, moans
with
around.
strut.
So you need
Hey.
to strut every day.
So let me ask you about the bra. Have you seen that?
The what?
The bra, I believe it's called. Have you,
Yeah, the
the
traction
it's
movements,
a
the heart rate that the athletes wear.
no.
Oh.
It's yes, I've seen that.
That's
That
a
is a
bra.
bra. That
The
is
posture one.
the posture one is what I'm
Okay.
talking about. Where
Okay.
you tighten it and it's a
Okay,
men's
so
bra or whatever.
I
Supposedly,
I have a company that I deal with a very similar product. It's literally
yeah,
like
I've seen the one you're talking about though.
you put it on, you snap it, you zip it up, and then you can pull the straps where it pulls your back
Yeah,
up.
yeah, this is similar.
That
This
is
is
legit.
okay.
So
So
if
these are the
struggle
things you
with
would recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend patients all the time.
Okay.
It's that people who literally just cannot get right. They can't get their
I mean,
posture
it's
right.
hard.
So
It's difficult,
it's years
right?
of
Like
untraining, right? Or
Right.
retraining the right way. So it's an assistance. Now, it's not your crutch forever. You're gonna use
it's
it.
gonna help you get to
Correct.
that point.
And you should be able to, as your body gets stronger, maintain that without the brace. But yeah, those are fine.
So, Dr. Reon, I want to shift gears a little bit. So, we've talked about posture. We've talked about all of this. What's your favorite sport, man? What are you following these days?
Honestly, man, I don't really follow that many sports.
What if you did? What would you, or do you not follow at all? Or
Which sport sends you the best clients?
yeah, that's a great. Actually, that's what.
Seriously.
Actually, the most loyal clients are my CrossFit guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they
So,
do,
I want to introduce Dario for a second if I can.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Hey, so Dario's going to talk to you a little bit. So Dario actually has experience not only in CrossFit but in what? Oh, well, you tell him, man. You get him. So take a couple quick seconds just to let this guy.
So what is the most common injury you see from CrossFit athletes?
It's still low back pain.
Lower back?
It's still lower back. I think what happens is, CrossFit it's great for community, right?
Right.
It helps a lot of people who would otherwise work out, get involved and work out. The only bad side of the community is there's that they want to fit in, they want to
Sure.
do well. So there are some people that aren't quite ready to lift certain weights or
Sure.
do certain moves who do it because of the peer pressure.
Right.
And those are the ones that we find are the ones who are like, oh, my buddy did like 10 reps and I saw him finish. I just want to finish. So
Right.
I knew my form was bad in the last one, but I did it and there it went. So that's what I get. I get a lot of people
Right.
just the community kind of motivates them just slightly too much. And
More men or women, just out of general.
No, it's always men.
It's always.
Well, here's the deal, right?
Right.
It's always the women who will come in and see me first.
Okay.
Then they send in their husband who's jacked up.
Gotcha.
So the woman will come in, oh, I got a little thing, work on it, they're great.
Right.
They send the husband in, and you're like, where have you been, bro? You are a mess.
And to be perfectly honest, I'm only about a year in it.
Yeah.
I've always, like I said, I've been a personal trainer for most of my life, and I got luckily the upside of my many surgeries was I got to learn about functional movement at an early age, and I've been vividly opponent of CrossFit until I became a member of Jones, and I've known Shelby Jones. We got certified together 15 years ago. Know his mom, his brother. But with that said, I will say they do have really good programming, which is one of the only reasons why I went there. We only pick up the bar twice a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of times, I mean, in my opinion, and the fact is we are weight.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that, like, we are weight. No one weighs negative. A newborn baby, 6, 8, 10, 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And so when I was an active trainer, people were always so quick to pick up a weight.
Yeah.
And I would have a Bosu ball and a 10-pound medicine ball and a bench. Like, oh, what are we doing? Man, if you do 100 body squats with no weight, you're still lifting your weight.
Just by
exactly.
And plyometrics.
If I put a box 2 feet high, say, hey PJ, we're gonna do 50 step ups on each leg, you're gonna get worn out.
You're gonna feel
and
that.
you're gonna get push-ups. I mean, and people are so quick to, oh, I want to lift weight. Okay, you are weight. Let's just start with you.
Right.
Let's just think laterally again and get creative. And that's what I like about Jones. And it's like, it's not lifting the bar 4 or 5 days a week. Sure, we'll get it in 2, but if you do 50 body squats, get on a rower, get on a bike, and do some stretching, you're still going to get a well-rounded.
That's what I've noticed. Like the CrossFit gyms that I work with, well, the one that I'm really close with in town, they have really good programming.
Right.
I know the owner; she's really good about taking care of the people, and I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So with that box, I really don't get a lot of stupid injuries
Sure.
or negligent injuries. I just get like the oops. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc.
Exactly.
What's that gym? Shout out to.
Oh, Tobin Hill CrossFit.
Oh, Tobin. Yeah.
They're great.
Shout out, guys.
Heidi is the owner and
Okay.
coach there. She's really good.
Great.
Patient of mine too.
And
Great.
Dario, go ahead and give us a shout out.
Jones in for CrossFit, Mama Jones, Shelby, Wade. Thank you for all that you do, and especially supporting Boots on Vets and everything else. But what is your, and I don't know, I left the room for a little bit, but what is your pet peeve? Just people like I said, I came back in the room, is just waiting to the last minute to speak up.
Yeah.
What other general advice for our listeners could you give? I mean, as far as, just overall health and wellness and, biomechanics and whatnot, any key bullet points or pointers?
I would just say, I see, so we're in this iPhone and this car and this home like world, right? Where everyone has to have the nicest car, and that car must be clean. The nicest house has to be clean with the iPhone 11 Max, whatever.
Right.
Instead of treating your
no, 10 plus.
whatever. Sorry. But we value all these things, right? These things, but we don't value our bodies. You know what I mean?
That's
So
huge.
we're like, I'm hungry. Oh, what's convenient? Whataburger's right here. Now, get me wrong. I love some Whataburger. It's delicious, but I can't tell you the last time I've been to a Whataburger. Like I only want to put good fuel in my body
Right.
because my body is my work. I need my body to go to work.
Yo, for those of y'all listening audioly, my man's got the body set up. He's good. So listen to him. He knows what he's talking about.
And that's what the thing is, I just don't understand how people can literally be like, I got the iPhone 10 or this, and I got this new car, but you're a mess.
Right.
You can't breathe. Walk into my office in the parking lot. Like,
Right.
how does that doesn't make any sense to me.
You
Like,
know,
I should cherish
it's
your body.
interesting that you mentioned that, and it seems like it's kind of a new thing. I mean, CrossFit's kind of new, clean eating's new. I mean, before in the 80s, man, and when I was a kid, America was about Coca-Cola, man. The
Hard.
soda wars. Dude, we had soda every day. They
Remember
smoked
you
in
would,
cars. We didn't wear
the
seatbelts.
Pepsi
It
Island.
was crazy. So I mean, it's changing, and I'm my daughter's 11, and I'm on her all the time about your body is your temple. It's to me it's funny because I'm a gamer. I got that gamer mentality, and I think everything I pick up, everything that I do, every experience that I have, it's like it's preparing me for something in the future. It's something that I'm retaining, some sort of experience that I have, whether it's food or anything I intake.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's kind of like that. But you're absolutely right, man. It's a big shift. Higher cancer rates than ever before in history. Back in the day, I mean, we didn't have this back in the 30s and 40s. Like,
People just died sooner than know.
Well,
crazy.
Right.
So I don't,
Seriously,
Yeah.
I agree with
preservatives and
Chris.
shit, right?
I don't know that we knew whether or not we had this, right? And to PJ's point, like it's crazy because as we're all trying to rear these children for the next generation, like how do you tell somebody, right? It's not about how you look. It's about your health. It's about, and what's that, Chris?
Into the mic.
Oh,
Talk
sorry.
into the mic.
No,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, right. No, that's what I'm saying. So it is difficult, right? Because you want to have that. Obviously, everybody cares about appearance. Everybody cares about it. But at the end of the day, it's not about appearance.
No.
It's about how do you feel better, look better, and be healthier on a day-to-day, man. What do you tell the kids?
Listen to this. You can put on $1,000 suit, but if you're 100 pounds overweight, you have acne, you can't breathe, you still look messed up.
I'll tell you what he
So
tells me.
right, man.
And he probably won't tell you this same way because Rand and I are friends, right? But he told me, he's like, "You're fat, dude. You gotta lose some weight." And I was like,
He
"Oh,
told
real
you
talk."
that?
He told me that.
When?
Right before I started losing some weight.
So you
Like, the doctor
My
tells you
point
to
is,
lose
so
some
that was your
weight, you're
catalyst.
gonna do it.
Harsh
You know?
reality,
Yeah.
sometimes those are the best friends, man.
Hey,
The ones that can
the
look at
best
you in the
friend.
You know what
face
though?
and say that to you.
That's what
sick.
I think about myself that makes me stand above other doctors is if I see you something wrong in your life for your health, I literally will call you out. I call you out on everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Isn't that what you want from a doctor, though?
Yeah, absolutely.
But call me
Yeah.
out
Isn't that
too. But
what-
listen, I mean,
Isn't that what you want?
we have a great relationship, me and my patients. If I'm late, which I always am, they're always like, we got the watch, we're like, Was it 9:30?
Yo, you're on that brown people time. I
I
got
know.
you. Yo, me and you both,
But
bro. I'm
listen.
late everywhere.
Look, we finished on time though.
There you go.
Hey, I don't know,
Dr.
man.
Bailey, I don't know if we've asked this. Where are you located? How does
Oh,
I know we had your website up,
yeah.
but where do
I'm at
what are-
410 in Babcock,
Okay.
just inside of the Loop, outside the medical center.
Okay.
I'm literally behind or right next door to the Meals on Wheels, if you know where that's at.
No, we don't. We're.
Fortune
Fortune
about
Babcock.
410 Babcock.
Hey, I appreciate you guys jumping on that.
Hey,
Thanks.
welcome back.
Right.
Welcome back.
But yeah, so like my patients that always complain about, oh, my back is killing me. When they walk in, I was like, how are you feeling? Oh, it hurts. Well, where were you last week? What do you mean? You said your back hurt, but you missed a whole week of treatment.
So you're saying we should have to keep up with the practice
It's
and actually,
accountability.
yeah.
You hold me accountable, I'm gonna hold you accountable. If you come in my office and you put on your paperwork, how could it impact your life? And you say, fix my back pain / help me lose weight. Guess what? I'm your coach now. So I'm gonna ask you, what do you have for lunch? And you're like, that's not a good answer here. You
Yeah.
know?
Hey, so Dr. Reon, I think we need to wrap this up here, but
Yeah.
I do want to touch real quickly. You said what? What's the difference between you as a doctor and you're their coach now?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does
Here's
that
the
look
deal.
like?
I care about you, right? I don't see you guys as a number. What I've learned in practice is if you treat people well, they refer to you and they're loyal to you forever. I have so many families that I treat. The mom comes in, dad comes in, kids come in, right? And they refer and refer and refer. So so you guys trust me, right? So you trust me to call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, you trust
There
me
you
to
go.
hold you accountable. And you come to my practice, we're friends, we become family. I see you often if we're family, right?
Right.
So you call me out. If I'm looking a little thick, Dr. Bailey needs to talk about it. You know? If I'm looking down in the dumps, ask me, Doc, what's up? People will say this, Dr. Bailey, you look kind of down in the dumps. Oh, well, this happened. I'm like,
Such and
oh,
such,
no,
yeah.
no worry, you'll get through that. I met an old doc a few years ago, and he told me, just straight, he told me, if you love on these people, they'll love you back. And that's what I do. You come in, I ask you what's going on with you, take
So
care
you
of
just
you.
made our promo. So I'm
There
it is.
literally
There it is.
We were all silent for long
Yeah,
enough.
thanks very much for that. Thanks.
But it's a true story, for real. It's legit.
And he does kind of it's not fair because he doesn't give you a lot of things to go in on him because he knows his shortcomings. Like for instance, I'll be like, hey man, can you see me at 9? You're like, what about 9:45? He knows if he says
What about
9:30,
45 minutes
I'm like,
later?
here's my chance.
There
I lost
it
30
is.
pounds, but you can't be on time.
There it is.
Right?
There it is. So are we wrapping it up right now? This
Yeah,
is
I mean,
about
it's
on time.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I want to know more about you, man. I'd love to have you back. It's been your practice and what you do is necessary, and I think it's overlooked. It's often overlooked. What's going on?
I don't.
No, we're just communicating.
Yeah. So and because my personal experience with chiropractic up until I needed it is no, man, you're gonna crack your back and you have to go forever. You're gonna be messed up and da da da. That's the complete opposite. It teaches you how to posture better and it relaxes your muscles and so forth. And so people need to go see you in particular, Dr. Reon Bailey, because he gives a shit.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing. Do you have an office line they can call to set appointments?
Yeah, our phone number is 210-920-4958.
Website.
410 Babcock.
What's the website?
SpineInMotionChiro.com.
And most importantly, we would love to have you back in the future to learn more about Dr. Reon Bailey outside of the practice. It was just too good to get away from all the information that you have.
There's more questions I want to ask in the future when you come
absolutely.
back. Absolutely.
Hey, so on that point, Dr. Reon, one of the things that we tell most of our guests are, you are always welcome back in the Huddle.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank
So
you.
we look forward to seeing you. We want to thank you very much for joining us in the Huddle. As always, keep hustling, man, because I know you're out there getting it. And then until next time, we will see you guys next week in the Hustlers Huddle.